Yeah, the 6 debutants we had this year went really well, and that's 6 is a fairly large number. There might have been a few other clubs that had a few more, but that's a lot, and most of them played together as well. We didn't sort of have 6 playing separately. Most of them were in there together at the same time, and they've all come on in their development. You know, Hugh McCluggey's had some really good games at AFL footy. They're starting to look comfortable at the level. We gave Jared Berry some tagging jobs and some of the best midfielders in the country, including Joel Selwood, which is a big ask, and he did a really good job when we played Geelong. I think Joel had 23 possessions that night, which is reasonably low for him, and Jared was able to pick up 21 himself, and I think Joel might have even given him a bit of a pat on the back at the end and said what a good job that he did. So that was exciting. We've seen Cedric Cox for a handful of games. You know, when you think that Cedric Cox 18 months ago was living at a little old place up in Western Australia called Halls Creek, a million miles away from playing AFL senior footy, and here he is 18 months later taking on some of the best players in the land. And so once he gets his confidence up and really believes that he's capable at the level, I think he's going to be a good player. We've seen glimpses of that. Alex Witherden's come into the team, and he took the competition by storm, really, playing as a rebounding half-back flanker. I reckon he's averaged around 23, 24 possessions a game, which is sort of up there in elite company.
He's everywhere at the moment. Keys hands it off. This will be the first as well. Witherden with his first goal in AFL footy. It's party on.
He's a confident young man. He's taken on the responsibility of kicking the ball in. He looks like at this point in time he was born to play AFL footy. And as long as he keeps his focus and his concentration and works on his game over the summer, we expect him to improve again next year. And then Jacob Allison, obviously Queensland Academy, Brisbane Lions Academy boy. Great to be able to get him into the team late in the year. 6'3", 6'4", plays on the wing, extreme speed, looked quite comfortable at the level. So no, we've got a lot to look forward to. And Sammy Skinner with his debut, which is probably the unfortunate story of the year, that he's managed to hurt his knee a few weeks ago in the Neefle game, and that's his 3rd, so he's going through another rehab. But such a pity, because in the one game that he played over against West Coast, there was his first half in particular before he ran out of petrol tickets was really encouraging. He looked like he would be able to play at the level, so we'll just have to be patient and wait for him now, and hopefully get through his rehab okay.
Forward in the middle of the ground, desperate stuff from both teams, and the Brisbane Lions hang on.
Have a look at that.
The improvement for the club after the mid-season bye was on the back, I think, of a lot of the good work that we did in the first half of the year. The 2 weeks off gave us some chance to really hone in on our ball movement, which we thought was the thing that was letting us down the most. And funnily enough, the first game after that, we kicked over 120 points against Fremantle, kept them to about 60, had a great win, and it's probably the best that we've ever been able to move the ball. And in the second part of the season, I think our points for per game was about 92 per game, which put us top 5 in the AFL for that period of time. So it had been a fair while since the Lions had sort of been up performing strongly in the offensive side of the game, so that was really pleasing. And what happened in conjunction with that was our defensive game improved, because if you've got the ball and you're using it well, you're not turning it over, you're not giving it to the opposition so much, and so generally as a team, overall we improved both elements of our game. And I think too, by and large, we'd had 10 games together, we settled the team down, we brought a lot of the young guys in. They started to get some familiarity with each other playing and just connecting a little bit better, and that all helped as well. The highlight of the season, the Essendon win, it was an exciting day for the footy club. It didn't start all that well. Darcy Gardner, I think, was injured in the first 5 minutes, hurt his elbow, so we were down a man, and he had a pretty important role to play in that game. And so that was a bit of a downer. Josh Walker, who had an important role to play at forward, had to go down back and play. Essendon, by and large, probably I wouldn't say dominated the game, but they were the superior team for large parts of the first 3 quarters. And we got to the last quarter with 27 points down, 40,000 screaming Essendon supporters at Etihad Stadium.
And the Bombers fans are stunned here at Etihad Stadium. They are dreading what is ahead.
They had everything to play for, and our guys dug deep, and they were able to get up and win that game. It was so exciting on lots of fronts. It was a hostile crowd. We're playing away from home. We're a fair way behind. We hadn't actually come from behind to win a game this year. So So all those elements that probably make it when the siren goes a more emotional win and a more exciting win. It certainly was for the players, and it certainly was for me too, as probably people saw with my reactions both during that game and when the siren went. But that was more just my happiness for them. That sort of was a little milestone for us, that we were actually able to go there and do that. And I keep talking to our players about putting more things into their footy kit bags. We're coming from behind and winning away from home. They're two big ticket items, and yeah, we are able to achieve that in that day. So that should give the group belief going forward. And we saw that belief against Melbourne in the second last game of the year. You know, we weren't too far off beating them and some of our other performances as well. So our things like games like that give you belief, and that's what I was most excited about for the group.
You could argue that man Dane Zorko in the last 4 weeks is the most in-form goal-kicking midfielder in the comp.
Yeah, you won't get too many arguments from me, would it?
I would describe Dane Zorko's season as outstanding. I mean, he was rewarded last night with All-Australian selection. When you think about it, there's probably about 900 listed players running around in AFL footy, and he's in the best 22. And he was able to do that at a club that's young and developing and down near the bottom of the ladder. So that's an exceptional effort by him. And I would have thought that it would inspire all his teammates as well, just to see what is possible. And you know, if we can get a list full of guys that play and train with the same attitude as what he does, then we're going to be a really good club going forward. But he handled himself so well last night and spoke in positive terms about our footy club. What I love about Dane though is that he's good at getting the ball and kicking goals and creating, but is equally as good at tackling and applying pressure to the opposition. And I think that's what probably got him into the team, is that his all-round game is outstanding. And you know, I think he might have started on a rookie list at some stage. So his career hasn't been handed to him on a plate. He's had to work really, really hard to be the player that he is. And he's a fantastic role model for everybody, and hopefully an inspiration for everybody as well. The progression of our players through the season has been really pleasing. I think what we've got now, I think at the start of the year they're all hoping they might win some games of football. I think they all know now that they can, and if we play at our best, we can challenge all teams in the competition. That's a quantum leap from where we're at as a footy club. And credit for that goes to the players themselves for being resilient, believing, sticking to the game plan, playing to their trademark. And also goes to the guys that work with them day in, day out, the assistant coaches and the development coaches and our fitness guys. There's just been a really positive growth mindset, I reckon, around our footy club this year. Every experience that we've had, whether it's been a good one or a not so good one, we've turned it into a learning experience. And you know, ever so gradually our group has started to climb and believe in itself. So that's exciting. We've got to come back and continue with that same attitude in the pre-season. Every step you take in AFL footy, it's harder and harder as you get higher and higher up the ladder. So we can't just take it for granted that, well, if we improve this year, we're going to improve next year. We've actually got to come back with renewed effort, renewed enthusiasm, and an even greater commitment to improve. But from where we were at the start of the year to where we were at the end, really pleasing improvement. What I've learned in my first year as an AFL senior coach is that it's a job that I love. I wished I had been able to do it before now. It's taken me until I was 55 years of age to get the privilege and the honour to coach an AFL club. My plan is to make the most of it and to help this club rise again. You know, that's how I pretty much get my enjoyment. It's not so much the winning of the games for me, but the improvement and the winning of games and the joy that the players and the supporters and everybody that works here gets when that happens. And you know, trying to do that on a more consistent basis as we go forward. The Brisbane Lions fans have been very warm and welcoming towards me. I remember a few weeks ago, it must have been before we played Gold Coast, I was out on the oval and I always go for a bit of a wander out there before a game, and I was walking back down the race and in the supporters sitting around the race all sort of started clapping me as I walked in, which was really nice. It was a bit embarrassing, but it was actually really nice to feel like, oh, they've appreciated the efforts of the team and all of us. No, all the ones that I talk to, and I love talking to them, and I think they feel like I'm approachable, so they'll come up and tell me what they think, but I think they've all enjoyed the year. They can see what the group's trying to do, they can see the future. I think they think we play a pretty exciting brand of footy, albeit we're a little bit inconsistent at the moment, but I think they've seen a turn for the better, which has really encouraged them. Every now and then they've got to get a nice card from someone, or a letter, or an email, which are all really positive. Haven't got any bad ones yet. Oh, there was one. I read the first 2 sentences and I thought, I'm not reading anymore. I put it in the bin. I like hearing positive things. And the only other weird thing was I got an email one day from a guy who was his fantasy footy team or his dream team or something, and that particular week Tommy Rockcliffe played a tagging role on Bryce Gibbs from Carlton. So in that game, Tommy did a great job on Bryce Gibbs. Bryce didn't get much of the ball, neither did Tommy. So obviously in these teams that you need players that get plenty of the ball because that gets your points up and all that sort of stuff. So this guy was obviously very concerned that I was going to play Tom Rockcliffe as a tagger for the entire season. So he sent me this email. It was a very long email, very well written, wanting to know whether or not Tom Rockcliffe was going to be playing that sort of a role for the rest of the year, because if he was, he'd change his team or whatever. I've never ever really responded to that email. I respect the fact that the guy sent it to me, but I could never answer that because I actually didn't know whether Tommy'd be playing those roles every week or not. As it turned out, he didn't, but I was mildly amused by it, and I was impressed by the seriousness of the young man who sent me the email. My hopes and expectations of the players for the 2018 season is that they continue to improve. So when they turn up early in November, what we'd be very hopeful of is that they all turn up in good physical shape at the standard that we've requested of them. They went away yesterday knowing what their skin folds and the work that they need to do over their break entails. So often it's an indicator of attitude, how they turn up when they come back from their break. I always found at the Hawks that was a real indicator of the sort of season you might have, and in those few years there where we won 3 premierships in a row, the guys turned up in great nick to start the pre-season. So that's what we'll be looking for from our group. That they first of all turn up in great shape, and then when they do, they've got an appetite to learn, grow, improve their cohesion and their synergy, and come out a better team next year. But we just want to improve again. People will want to know how many games we think we can win and all that sort of stuff. Well, I don't want to put a basement or a ceiling on that. Really, it's just all about trying to get better at what we do. And we know statistically this year that we did, and we know visually by looking at the team that we did. We want our statistics and our supporters and all who watch us to be able to say the same things at the end of next season. If they do, I'm very sure we'll have more wins.